What's up, everybody? Welcome to another bonus episode today where I'll be going through the second trailer for The Mandalorian. I'm super stoked about seeing this series. It looks amazing. Definitely one of a kind in the Star Wars universe. It looks great, guys. I hope you guys are just as excited about it as I am. So let's go ahead and jump into the trailer. Here we go. Alright, so it starts off with the Stormtrooper helmets on the ground, just like trailer 1, and the pikes, which is an awesome shot, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and pause real quick. Awesome shot. I love it. I love it. It's definitely dark. Nothing like we've seen before. The closest thing we've probably gotten to maybe Return of the Jedi, where the Ewoks are playing the drums on the Stormtroopers' heads, which you obviously think, maybe the Ewoks ate them or something. I don't know. But definitely, this is awesome. Hopefully it's a symbol of how intense and brutal and awesome this show is going to be. So let's go ahead and keep on going here. Alright, this next shot looks like, I can't tell if they're stormtroopers riding on these things. I can't really tell, but I would assume they're stormtroopers. It kind of looks like stormtroopers from here, but they're riding on these creatures that look very similar to these creatures called Blurg, or I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. It's spelled Blurrg. These creatures are from the Clone Wars and Rebels, so it's definitely a cool callback. I love it. Moving on. You got a nice little shot in Mandalorian, kind of his helmet, everything, all of his armor is nice and shiny. Looks really cool. Okay, so this part, he was scanning around this cavern or canyon, wherever he's at. I'm not too sure, but it looks like these creatures that are attacking him are a species called Trandoshan, which is actually the same species as Bosk from Empire Strikes Back. So that is awesome. He was standing there with Boba Fett and Darth Vader and all the other bounty hunters in that scene on Empire Strikes Back. So we're going to keep on moving here. The carbonite scene, or little cut scene right there, was awesome. Just love the carbonite freezing. Alright, so the next part, it looks like he's collecting bounties. He just landed somewhere. Mandalorian, that is, he's unloading his bounties, I guess. They're all frozen in carbonite. There's 1, 2, 3, and the fourth, there's 3 lined up next to his ship, and there's his 4th coming out. So that's pretty cool. Shows that he's out getting bounties for some reason. Don't know exactly what yet, but we'll find out, right? And then move to the next one. He's at this scene where it looks like his ship's on the left, and there's what looks like a U-wing on the right. Don't know whose ship that is or whatever, but it looks like it's modified a little bit. The wings aren't there, something's different, but it definitely looks like a U-wing. He walks into a little pub or bar or something with some people. Okay, so at the 52 marker, just a quick glance on the far left, actually, it looks like it's a Rodian, but the species is a Rodian, and that's the same as Greedo from, Han and Greedo in the bar, and Mos Eisley, Han shoots Greedo, whatever. It's the same species, so that's awesome that they keep tying in these little details from all these different eras of Star Wars. So the door opens and a bunch of stormtroopers are sitting in there. Look like they're waiting on something. And then it shows him walking out, Mandalorian walking out of the door, fighting, starting to attack these stormtroopers, and I saw a bullet reflect off of his armor, which looks awesome. So I guess his Mandalorian armor is just that strong or whatever. It's reflecting these blaster bullets, which is pretty cool. So, and that takes me back to with the stormtroopers and everything, like I know this is going to be kind of like the fall of the Empire and maybe possibly the rise of the First Order, so maybe we're going to get some of that. I don't know, but I've been thinking like, okay, so if the Empire's falling or retreating and maybe going into hiding, you know, are there going to be like these bands of old stormtroopers that get together and maybe have their own missions that they create for themselves, or are the bounty hunters going to be hunting them? Are they going to be hunting the bounty hunters type thing? How, I'm just trying to throw out some ideas. Like, I'm trying to think what is going to happen. Basically, are there going to be like rogue stormtroopers kind of thing? Like, okay, we're not part of the Empire anymore, but here I am still a stormtrooper kind of doing my own thing, making a living kind of thing. And maybe these stormtroopers that we see in this room, who knows? Maybe they're like, well, we're making our own living. We're, trying to hunt our own things. They're almost like a stormtrooper bounty hunter type deal. I have no idea, but I mean, I guess at this point, 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and before Episode 7 takes place, like who knows what's happening, But I mean, I really do think we're gonna see these stormtroopers not necessarily working for the Empire itself. Maybe, I don't know. It could go one of two ways. It could be the tail end of the Empire trying to clean up some messes that they've left around the galaxy, and they're like trying to make deals or meeting with the Mandalorian to settle something. Or it could be a rogue squad of Imperial troopers that are like, okay, well, here we're trying to do a job, we're trying to make a living as well, and that's how they run into the Mandalorian. Who knows, but I love thinking about what possibilities could be out there. So all right, November 12th. Okay, so this part is kind of quick, but right around the 105 marker, they just show this, like a town or something on fire or whatever, and a ship flies by. It's a big round-looking ship. It happens pretty quick, but if you pause it and look, it actually looks like a droid gunship, which we haven't seen since Revenge of the Sith and the Clone Wars. So again, more tie-ins, more connections, which is kind of odd to me because The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So for these things to still be around kind of blows my mind, because I think this is like the time era where you're getting maybe the Empire's kind of dwindling away or running away and hiding, and the First Order starting to rise. I'm not exactly sure, but it's crazy that this stuff is showing up in that time period. So keep moving. Okay, and then right after that scene, if you pause it at 106, it looks like a mother and a father with the father's holding the kid running, and in the background you see a super battle droid, which is crazy. So the super battle droids we haven't seen since episode 2, 3, the Battle of Geonosis, with all the droid army and stuff. That's crazy. So another awesome tie-in. These super battle droids are awesome. I mean, they're not like my favorite, but my favorite are probably the Droidekas, the one that roll and they have a little shield that they do or whatever. Not the little puny ones either, but the super battle droids are like big brutes, kind of just move kind of slow and just kind of shoot out, of their arms or whatever. But it's just kind of crazy to see that they're back and they're actually like going to be in something new now, and it's unbelievable. I don't know, it blows my mind. But like one of my favorite scenes that involved the super battle droids was in episode 3 when Anakin and Obi-Wan get on the ship at the very, very beginning to go rescue Palpatine, and it's later on in that little sequence, R2-D2's like getting a like comm from Anakin, and the two super battle droids in the ship hangar or whatever hear it and walk up to R2-D2, and R2 just like he sprays a bunch of oil everywhere and then shoots out his flames and stuff, and he like burns both super battle droids up and like goes away making his little noises. That was like by far like probably my favorite scene that R2's been in ever. So keep on moving. Okay, that's the part where he grapples this guy and like drags him through the doorway, and I think the doorway like shuts on him and like cuts him in half. And you know, this is a Star Wars series. Like, I can't believe that a Star Wars series is like, I don't know I don't know if it's actually going to show the body being cut in half, but the fact that the trailer like clearly makes it look like the guy's going to get sliced in half is unbelievable. Like, this is definitely going to be a Star Wars series, or you know, the first thing Star Wars ever that we've ever seen that's like this. Like, it's nothing's gonna compare to it. Like, it's just gonna be crazy. It's gonna be one of a kind. And it's like, I think the rating was TV 14, so not even PG 13. So it's even higher. So that blows my mind. Like, this is the real deal, and it's gonna be fantastic. I think this is gonna be like one of the best shows. It's definitely one of the most talked about shows coming out on Disney Plus. It's definitely been the biggest hype, I think. Probably just because it's coming out right away. You know, and it'll be like right out of the gate. I mean, you also do have a bunch of other Marvel stuff and coming out later on, which is great. Can't wait. But I think they've just hyped up The Mandalorian so much. You know, as soon as it's literally the first episode, the first day that everything drops, it's right there for you. So definitely something to look forward to. After that, we go into... Alright, so at 112, this creature, kind of another crazy callback to episode 2, where on Geonosis, where the battle's going on, that planet, but the part where Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan are being held captive or whatever, and they're out in that like field or arena to try to fight these 3 creatures. So that's what this creature looks like. It's the one that Anakin had, and I think eventually he got on top of it and was trying to like control it and was riding it and stuff. That's the one that he had. So that's the one we're in this shot here. It's a big like rhino looking thing, but it looks old and beat up. Like, it looks like a, you know, I don't know, if you were okay, let's put it this way. Chewbacca in Han Solo, or in Solo, the movie, where he first meets Han and they're wrestling in the mud pit. Like, that's literally what this creature looks like, because it's so old and disgusting. But that's awesome. That is just another thing from, you know, the earlier episodes, and that it's calling back to all this stuff. It's awesome. It looks like Mandalorian, he's trying to tame the thing or something. I don't know. Move on. Okay, so another scene with 2 guys on speeders. It looks like one's a Mandalorian, and I can't tell who the other guy is, but it looks like they're on Tatooine. I can't tell, but it's a big desert planet looking thing, so it could be Tatooine, but I don't know. I mean, I really hope it is, because I would love to see the Mandalorian going back or being on Tatooine, just to give us some sense of callback. You know, everyone loves that double sunrise and or sunset. Seeing that and think it's just the coolest thing. I mean, you got A New Hope, Luke looking at it, just so many things that come back to you from Tatooine. And if they could incorporate Tatooine somehow into this series, and maybe a good part of it takes place on Tatooine, like, that would be awesome. I would love to see that, and I think that would be a very awesome thing for the fans, at least, because I know, at least for like in the Rise of Skywalker, people are freaking out and saying, "Oh, we go back to Tatooine," but really, you know, I don't know if we do or not. You know, it's kind of been unclear, but I know everyone wants to see Tatooine again, because, you know, that's where Anakin was, that's where he was slaved at, that's where all the pod racing was, that's where Luke ended up growing up. Like, it's all back to Tatooine, so I guess we'll see. Let me move a little farther. So you get him coming out of space, or they're in space, and he's the Razor Crest Mandalorian ship's flying, and something's chasing it. There's a ship chasing him, trying to shoot at him. And if you pause it really quickly, I mean, I'm not kidding. I have no idea if this is true or not, or if it's going to be true, or, I mean, I hope it is. But the ship chasing it looks like a Naboo starfighter, which is what Anakin flew as a little boy in Episode 1 when he went into space and blew up that big droid, control ship or whatever. But honestly, like, that ship was probably one of my favorite ships ever, because growing up, I was watching Episode 1 nonstop, and I just remember seeing Anakin as a little kid. In my eyes, my age, at that point in time, I was watching, I'm like, that ship is awesome, this kid is awesome, and it's fantastic. I'm like, come on. But I always thought it was one of the coolest looking ships. It was so fast, and I loved the fast ships. That was what I was always about. I loved how fast they were. But seeing that, like, thinking that could possibly be one of those ships in this trailer, like, holy cow, they're bringing this back. How did this stuff survive? How did this stuff make it all the way to after Return of the Jedi? Like, you're talking about, Episode 1 through 2, Episode 3, Episode 4, Episode 5, Episode 6, going all the way to past, 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and you still have super battle droids, the gunships, if this is true, a Naboo starfighter, who knows? Like, where did all this stuff come from? Like, it's really hard for me to think of a theory or where it would, how this would even be possible, because, after Episode 1, we didn't see any of that stuff. We didn't see any of those kind of ships, the droids, everything was gone. So for all of a sudden this stuff to be coming back, I mean, maybe someone found the droids and reprogrammed them and started their own droid army again, kind of like maybe the droids take back over between the Empire and the First Order. So then maybe you have a little droid army that kind of just goes around the outlying systems. I don't know, but I just remember, like, that ship was Rogue Squadron. I used to play that game all the time on N64. I love that game. I love the missions where you got to fly, or maybe not Rogue Squadron. I think it was Rogue Squadron. I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure it was Rogue Squadron, but you get to fly around in that ship, at least on a couple missions, and it was awesome. As a kid, I just loved it. So if that's really what that is, it'll be the first time that we've seen one since Episode 1, and it's crazy. Why if it is that ship, why is it here? What is it doing? Crazy. So that's probably one thing that just blows my mind, but we'll keep going here. All right, so we stop again, and then we got the four people standing next to each other at right around 120, 121. Okay, so on the right, the far right, it looks like kind of cool. It looks like the species I saw actually in Solo on Kessel. There was somebody or a species that looked exactly like that, which is pretty cool. The only other thing I noticed really is the guy on the far left. He's wearing like some kind of Mandalorian armor, not like a full suit, but he's got something going on there. So I don't know. It kind of looks weird, like it doesn't fit him or something. So I don't know if he's even supposed to have it, but anyway, move a little farther. All right. So here we get, okay. I wanted to stop at this part, the shot, or IG-88, or not 88, IG-11. It's like shooting at everyone. So, fun fact, awesome fact about the voice actor playing IG-11 is actually Taka Waititi, however you pronounce his name, I'm sorry, but he is the guy, he was directing Thor Ragnarok, and he played Korg, which is awesome, because that guy was hilarious in Thor Ragnarok. So, curious to see what kind of noises are going to come out of this droid, because obviously everyone knows him as Korg, so it's going to be great. There's no way it's not going to be great because Korg was like the best character of Ragnarok, so keep on going. 127 marker. Looks like this girl, I don't know who this girl is, maybe some important person to the Mandalorian, but it looks like she's going to take off his helmet. Could be like an ending thing where, oh, hey, I'm happy to see you, you're alive, whatever. Who knows? I'll move along. Another thing I thought was kind of cool, I just love all the action. The action sequences look like they're going to be great. This guy, I stopped and noticed, it was kind of cool because I'm just really different, but he's like, it's right around the 129 mark. He is holding two pistols, and it looks like there's a blaster coming off some kind of like mechanical arm off his back, like there's a belt or something holding it. I don't know, but it looks awesome. Like, it's unbelievable how much action has been in all this stuff so far, so I'm excited for this. The next shot looks like it's right at 130 to 132 or so. So it looks like he's hooked on to a TIE fighter with his grappling hook or whatever, maybe using his jetpack a little bit. It looks like he has a jetpack. There's some smoke blowing off the back of him, so I assume he's got some kind of jetpack going, and he's clinging on to this TIE fighter, comes into it, and lands on it and looks into his buddy there flying it. So that's kind of cool. I love seeing the TIE fighters. One of my favorite flying vehicles in Star Wars. Definitely pretty awesome. And then after that, you finally get to hear him say something. He says, yeah, good. So that's awesome. Finally get to hear him talk. And that's the end of the trailer right there. So I am definitely excited for when this will come out. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to talk to people about it. But another thing I wanted to mention real quick, it's actually the time frame of when all these episodes are going to be coming out. So episode 1, obviously November 12th. It's a Tuesday. These the way they have them coming out is completely different. I figured it was going to be like, okay, episode 1 comes out on a Sunday, episode 2 will come out the following Sunday. It'd be like a week thing. Well, that's not how it's going to be. So episode 2 is going to be dropping the same day as Jedi Fallen Order on November 15th, which is a Friday. So you got Tuesday, then Friday, which is really different, but it's awesome. So I wonder if there's any coincidence for those two dropping on the same day. Who knows? Episode 3 will be November 22nd, which is a Friday, so that's a week later. Episode 4, November 29th, which is a Friday again, another week later, so it gets kind of into that flow of every week. And then episode 5, December 6th, another week away on a Friday. Episode 6, December 13th, again, Friday. And then episode 7 goes on December 18th, which is a Wednesday, which is only 5 days. So it's a little less than a week, so that's cool. And then after that, you have The Rise of Skywalker coming out December 20th, which is a Thursday. And then after that, you have the last and final episode 8 coming out December 27th, which is a Friday. So, which is a 9-day span from episode 7. So thank you guys so much for joining me today on the breakdown of The Mandalorian trailer number 2. If you haven't yet, go back and listen to my breakdown on episode 9. I'll probably talk on that all day. There's just so much that's going to happen with that film. Can't wait. Also go back, listen to episode 0, get to know all the guys. We're trying to get everything started. We just kind of talk about ourselves a little bit and just to get everything going. And also check out episode 1 that just dropped. Hope you guys enjoy. We are very excited to finally have an actual episode out. So with that said, thanks again everyone for hanging out with me today. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. Go out, take a listen. Also, if you guys want to send in your stories on how you became a nerd, how you became into whatever you're into, we would love to hear it. Send your emails to atnpcast@gmail.com and just title it Nerd Story or something like that. That way we know. exactly what it is, and we will read it on a future episode if you would like, for other listeners to hear, or if you want it private, just include that in the message, and we will just read it ourselves and maybe respond to you or something like that. But anyway, wherever you guys are at, have a great day or night, and may the force be with you always.